According to the Pew Research Center, about 8 in 10 Americans have at least some debt. Debt is stressful and overwhelming, and it can be advantageous to get out of debt as fast as possible so that you can live your life financially free. In this video, I wanted to share some ways that I have used to pay off debt. I have paid off almost all of my debt on a salary of less than $40,000 a year, so I wanted to share some of the ways that I did that with you. I am definitely not a financial expert, I just wanted to share what has worked for me. Every one of these tips that I may be sharing today may not be relevant for your specific situation, so implement the ones that are helpful for you. In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 ways that I've paid off debt, but there are really 2 different methods or categories that these would fall into. The 2 ways that you can pay off debt most quickly is by reducing your spending or by increasing your income. I have done both to pay off my debt. So let's talk first about reducing your spending. The first thing that I've done to pay down my debt more quickly is to negotiate bills. Most people don't actually realize that this is an option, but some bills are actually negotiable. One really great example is internet. Internet companies are notorious for quoting people at a specific price, and then people just say, okay, and pay the company the money that they've asked for. I've called my internet provider on multiple occasions and asked, how can you help me reduce my rate? Asking something like, how can you help me reduce my rate is a much better question than asking, do you have a lower rate? Because if you ask, do you have a lower rate? That's a yes or no question, and they'll be quick to say no and then just hang up or end the phone call. If you ask them, how can you help me reduce my rate? They're forced to answer with a little bit of a lengthier answer, which can get you into a conversation about options that are available. Usually when I make this call, they're not super helpful. So then I might say something like, well, I'm going to plan to cancel then. I'm going to call around and see if there's better rates available at other providers. At that moment, they will almost always reduce the rate because they want to keep your business. And if they don't, then I will call other providers to see if they can beat the rate that I was quoted at. This has worked for me for years to keep my internet bill the same. It has not increased in years because I will always call around to get the best rate. And I'm willing to leave a company if they're not willing to compromise on price. I've also heard of people having success using this method with cell phone bills or phone bills in general. Any services that you currently pay for that are offered by multiple different companies or providers are great bills to start with. If there's some competition, those companies will be willing to compete with one another for the best rate in order to earn your business. Don't always assume that the rate they're offering you is just the price. Be willing to negotiate so that you can save some money to contribute towards your debt. The second way that I have reduced spending in order to pay off my debt more quickly is by determining what my values are and cutting costs wherever I can to save money in the areas that I don't value as much. One example of this is rent. I have determined over the years that I do not spend a lot of time in my bedroom. I use it mostly for sleeping, and if I'm ever lounging, I like to do that on the couch, or if I'm ever working, I like to do that at a dining room table of some kind, and so I find that I'm not in my bedroom. So a big bedroom really doesn't matter to me at all. I've worked with roommates in the past to choose the smaller bedrooms in apartments or houses if they're willing to take the master suite and pay a little bit more for that. Another area that I cut costs mercilessly because I just don't value it is clothes. I really don't like clothes shopping. I don't find joy in it. And I really don't care about updating my wardrobe because I find that I just wear the same things all the time. Because I know I always wear black and gray, I just wear the same things for years. And when I do shop, it's to replace something that is worn out beyond repair. These examples may not resonate with you, but maybe you don't care about having the nicest car or watching TV, or it's not a priority for you to eat only organic food. Determine an area that you don't really care about as much and cut costs wherever you can in that area so that you can contribute that money towards your debt. All right, so I've talked about 2 ways that you can reduce your spending. Now let's talk about some of the ways to increase your income. The third way that I have paid off debt more quickly is by using a student loan forgiveness program. If you have student loans, a quick Google search of student loan forgiveness programs will pull up lots of different options that are available, some for public servants or teachers or nurses. There are lots of different student loan forgiveness programs out there. Do some research to find any that could apply to you and then follow them to the letter. It is really important to be diligent about following the exact steps that the program outlines, because one small misstep could prevent you from completing the program and receiving the student loan forgiveness. I was able to do a student loan forgiveness program through AmeriCorps that covered part of my student loans and helped me to wipe out some of that debt. The fourth thing that I have done to pay off debt more quickly is to get a part-time job. I've had a few different part-time jobs or side hustles over the years to make more money. I've tutored, babysat, given plasma, lots of different things to make more money. Anywhere you can squeeze in some extra work hours or make some extra money helps. Consider working at your gym to make some extra money and to get your membership for free, or work nights for a food service delivery program, or offer to clean people's houses on the weekends. Every little bit helps. The fifth thing I have done to pay down debt more quickly is to get a higher paying job. I have had 3 whole different careers in the 5 years after graduating college. I started as a teacher, then I worked student affairs at a university, and now I do purchasing for a medical clinic. The best time to negotiate a higher salary is when you start a new job. Finding a higher paying job or even jumping careers entirely, if you're open to that, can open doors to higher salaries that you can use to pay down your debt more quickly. So those are just 5 quick things that I did to pay down my debt. When I was paying down debt, especially at the beginning when I wasn't making a lot of money, it wasn't very helpful for me to hear, oh, stop buying lattes, because I never really went to a coffee shop. And so that advice wasn't helpful for me. Hopefully the tips that I've shared today are more applicable for you, and you're able to use some or all of them to pay down your debt faster. Let me know what methods you have used to pay off debt in the comments below. I would love to hear what has worked for you. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos on personal finance. I will see you in the next one.